All right, I'm Laura Rice, Chief Marketing Officer at Celebrate.
And I'm Danielle Stone-Prevette, a Marketing Manager here at Celebrate.
Yes, we're really excited to be presenting this breakout session to you today. It's track 1, Marketing That Moves the Needle. We're going to be talking about strategic campaigns, community connections, and storytelling. There are a lot of activities around this. So next slide. Oh, I'm doing the slides. So the agenda, as I said, we're going to do a little welcome, which we just did, and a temperature check on the next slide. We're going to go through a little bit of Marketing 101, so if you've heard some of it, it'll be validation for you. Some of this stuff might be new for you. We love this stuff, so we could talk about it all day. So we can make this as tailored as you want. If you have questions, please ask us. Then we're going to get into campaigns that stick, so planning for real impact. Owning your backyard, so those community connections, making sure you're doing those and why they matter. Then we're going to do a fun little activity on crafting your story, so giving you that elevator pitch, and we're going to do it Mad Lib style for anybody. Hopefully everybody knows what that is. And then we're going to do a little wrap up and talk about how we protect the brand in our communities. So if you could, please scan this QR code to rate your marketing knowledge right now, how you feel, and the results should come on the next slide. Should I just go to the next slide?
I'd say let's leave this up on the screen if we can for a minute to give everybody time to scan it. And then once I see no more phones going up, we'll pull up the next slide.
For those franchisees just joining, please come to
we have
a
some
seat
seats
with
at the
handouts
front.
up front. And we're asking everybody to scan this QR code and rate your marketing knowledge. Correct. How confident you are with marketing. You should see the
Go to the next. Let's see what the results look like. Ooh.
All right. Yay, you're in the right room.
Definitely got some confidence, seeing results in real time.
So we love this, and this is why you guys have us, because we are here to support you, give you the processes, the tools, everything you need, answer any questions that you have, because we love this stuff. We do this all day. Is everybody completed? Okay. Love it.
Great way to start the day. We've got strategic marketing campaigns kicking us off, and that's our weakest section in terms of everybody's confidence level, so I'm glad that's where we're starting because we're all nice and fresh this morning. So let's get right into it.
So I just want to talk a little bit about integrated marketing. We talk about this all the time. You've probably heard that term. Really, it's to have multiple things working at the same time to have maximum impact. So it's kind of like you don't just want to have digital marketing running without doing anything in your community to help get the brand awareness out there. So we're at the same time trying to do brand awareness along with things that are going to bring you leads. But all of the things work together for your end result of enrollments. And you guys probably already know this, but I wanted to put some examples up here of things that we're talking about that you would be running at the same time. So your community connections, we probably could have a button that says community connections. We talk about that all the time. It's very important to be out in your community as soon as possible, especially once you have the school name and be able to hand out those business cards to anybody. Look at all conversations as an opportunity. And not all things are going to be lead drivers. Some things could be where you find a teacher. Some people might be like, oh, my sister has kids, or my neighbor has kids that might be interested. So look at everything as an opportunity. Social media. Did somebody just ask a question? Okay. Social media, the Google website, local ads and public relations, some of these things we have vendors for that we'll introduce you to, for those of you who aren't in that part of the journey yet. Billboards and radio, this could be an opportunity for you as an individual school to do, or you could get together and pull your money together and do them in your market with other franchisees. Word of mouth is huge. I think we've talked about this whole time we've been here, how priceless word of mouth is, and it's essentially free. So think about the lifetime value of a customer for you, which is anywhere between $18,000 to $24,000 a year, maybe even more, and word of mouth is free. So getting out there, talking to them, even the $5,000 you may be recommended for spending on Google each month, the lifetime value, and that's what's that, 1 year? That's like 1 year actually. Mm-hmm. So 1 year actually. Yeah. So.
Yep, and I always love to tell the franchisees that I work with, when I went to college for marketing, I had a whole class just around this one topic of integrated marketing communications and really trying to express how important it is to have not just social media ads running or not just putting all your eggs in one basket, because to make things more impactful for the the customer at the end of the day, they need to hear it a million times.
Yeah. And I didn't get to say this yesterday because we didn't get through all of our pre-planned questions, but one of the things I like to say, which my team laughs, is if you build it, they won't come because they don't know you're there. So you don't want to open your doors and think people are just going to flock in. You want to make things happen. You've spent a lot of money, time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears to be here, and you want to let people know about your story. And that's really what this is all about, is sharing your story. And then when the opportunity is right for that person that's on that journey, they will come and roll with you. And signage. Signage is huge, making sure you're visible, because a lot of the schools sometimes are off the main path, so having signage really helps. And then I think I skipped over the why it matters, but you probably get that. So your audience is everywhere, so you want to be everywhere. Meet them where they are, that's the most important thing. And then reputation, obviously, across the platforms boosts impact.
Yeah, and meeting them where they are. I've talked to a lot of franchisees who have said, I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram. Well then, if we were running Facebook and Instagram ads and you were a parent, you would never see those ads. So we all have different customer journeys, and we all consume media in different ways, and some forms of media are more impactful for different people as well. So it's important to have that integrated approach that's really widespread so that you can feel confident that you have reached every single potential customer in your market. Question?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's really the goal. Like, we talk about that at Meet the Team Day right from the start. It's like, you're trying to fill a funnel and at the top, but eventually that mix is going to change because people are going to know who you are. You're going to have retention, so you're going to be keeping your people, and that's really the least expensive way to do it, is keep the people that you have enrolled. Referrals are huge. Like, asking for that referral is critical because you want those, the kids that you have or the families that you have, you want other families like those. So and you have to go in for the ask. Like, it's all about asking. And people might say no, but yeah, the mix will change. Like Kate Mulcahy, when you get to a certain point, like Kate Mulcahy doesn't really spend money on digital marketing. It's a very low amount if she spends any. Most of hers is in the community, most of it's through word of mouth, and she's just, because she's created so much brand awareness at this point.
Yeah, and it can change throughout time. The general consumer behavior, for the most part, is you do a Google search. Whether it's you're doing a Google search because you want to go to the website, and then maybe you fill out a lead form, or you do a Google search because you want to make a phone call or even find the school. So that's why it's usually important to have PPC running at all times so that you can be competitive in the search, no matter where you're at in your journey. For the corporate schools, I run the digital advertising for the corporate schools too, and I run PPC at all times because I want, when people are ready to do that search, for us to come up, and that's just user behavior, right? That's just how people are.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of going in the direction of, as you track anything that stands out after that 1 to 2 years, like 2 years ago, I have this amount of money that I put into advertising. Now it's changed. Now we want to focus at the mature schools.
That's
Yep.
Have that information.
Yeah, that's Danielle's world. So
Yeah,
that's what she
there.
does all day long. So she's looking for those space available potentials. So
Yep.
she has strategies for that are different when you're trying to fill a whole school.
Yeah, it's really about the messaging at that point, because the channels that you can use can be the exact same, depending on what the need is. Like, I would recommend using 5 to 6 channels in an early stage to make sure that you are reaching lots of customers. And when you're in a mature stage, maybe you limit it to 2 to 3, your budget's a little lower, but the messaging is what changes, and that's what's most important. If you're mature and you aren't now enrolling infants, toddlers, preschool, school age, maybe it changes to now enrolling in our 3s classroom, and you want to be really targeted with that.
Yeah, and Danielle's monitoring all those ads and the performance of those ads too, and some work differently for other schools versus other schools. So it's just a matter of monitoring, and that's what we have our digital partner, Inspire, for too. So they're what they bring is really helpful and impactful for us in making decisions.
Yeah, thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you, and please stop us anytime. Oh, perfect. Yes, Neil.
Thank you, Chris. Just curious, I know a lot of our kids, but even like younger parents with the young kids are using ChatGPT, AI, some of this. So what does that roadmap sort of look like?
I love that question because I actually have been searching for our franchisees on our on behalf of our franchisees and looking up best childcare in whatever market. So Warrington, for example, because I had a franchisee ask me the exact same question. And the way those searches really populate is based on your SEO and the SEO health of your website. So what we're doing with Inspire, and it's actually new that we just did this past March, is have specific blog pages for all the schools, because in order to increase your search engine optimization or organic searches, it's really important to have a lot of additional content on your website to tell Google, I'm an active business. Here's information that relates to things that people are searching for. So we are always working to increase our SEO, which will have that impact when it comes to ChatGPT and different AI search engines. We'll take one more
He's
question.
got another.
Oh, follow up.
And then, are we, because I remember last year someone on one of the panels saying that with marketing, what worked in their market for them was very different than worked with a neighboring school. So like, are we doing everything and just seeing what works, or what is like the game plan with that?
Yeah, it's marketing really is, at the end of the day, can be frustrating, but it's all testing. You know, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, and using data and information to help you feel confident that this strategy that I'm doing is working or not. And it can be a little hard too when you are doing maybe 5 or 6 channels at once, because you might not be able to directly allocate, well, this billboard that I did worked, even though I did it at the same time as a lot of other channels. But it's really important that Phil's team in the enrollment center is asking, how did you hear about us? How did you hear about us? Usually they're gonna say Google because they just Googled you. And that's the last thing that's in their mind, but all those other touch points did have an impact in their journey.
But it's definitely not a set it and forget it model. It is constantly like looking at performance and making changes. And that's why it's important to show up to those calls with the Inspire team so you get that data. And also when the leads come into the system, like rating the leads and having all that information, because that information helps find more people like those people. So it's really important to be on top of all of that. And you should go to Danielle's table later. She's doing one about data if you want to learn what those KPIs are of what you should be paying attention to. That's probably a good place to go later on today. Perfect.
And, sorry, one question.
Oh, yes.
Would you prioritize direct mail in the early stages?
I think direct mail is most effective in the early stages specifically. It's really you coming in hot to that market and telling them, we're coming soon. If you'd like to do direct mail, especially if you're starting it early, I recommend doing it multiple times too for the most impact that you can possibly have. So Celebrate School's coming soon to this market, and then the message change. You do it again in a couple months. Our welcome center is open. We're now scheduling visits. Come see us. And then bam, our school's open. So direct mail can be a really great strategy. It does work better in other markets than it does others. And it's, again, really about testing it. But increasing the amount of times that you're doing it will increase the impact of it as well. Great. Thanks for those questions.
Okay. So this is just a visual of what we're talking about when we talk about the marketing funnel. You'll hear that term a lot. So there's different stages of the funnel, different mediums that go along with those stages. So awareness is really around getting the name out there, which we talk about that all the time. Like, people are not gonna Google a business that they've never heard of, most likely. And if they haven't heard of you, we want them to click on, you know, the paid links that you're paying for the digital marketing. It really helps if they've seen you somewhere else, or you know, they've talked to you, or they've seen press, or I don't know, like there's a bunch of things that you can do to help drive that awareness that helps grease the digital marketing reel. So awareness at the top, here's some ideas. So that's the radio spots, if you do commercials, social media ads. We do a lot of just brand awareness ads that really helps your local marketing be more effective. And programmatic ads, this is where it's basically learn more about Celebrate. So learn about the Celebrate difference. Then there's the consideration stage, the engagement stage. So this is really where they do fill out a form. They want to learn more about it. So we have retargeting ads. So this is when somebody comes to the website, then we follow them around. I'm sure that's happened to you many times. Actually, probably talked about Celebrate, and you're seeing a ton of ads around here. Paid search ads. Keywords are very important too. So we're always looking at keywords. We're looking at negative keywords too. So if there's keywords that are bringing in leads that aren't good quality that we're seeing in the system, we put those in as negative so we won't get more leads like that. And then conversion. So this is where we obviously want people to convert. We want to talk to them. We want to schedule their tours. So there's different phases. They all work together. And again, there is no set journey. Like, people just take as long as they take. Any questions on the funnel and the importance of the funnel?
Phil will also be doing
that's next door.
a roundtable, I think, putting
Yes,
the fun in funnel.
the fun
So
and funnel. Like Phil's doing a table today
you'll be able to hear
about the
more
fun
about it.
in the funnel. So I would definitely check that out too. Oh yeah. So I felt like Michelle Mayer was also, she had like read my speech for today, but you know, you never want to take your foot off the gas. As Danielle mentioned, like you always want to have something running, marketing running. I think I kind of equate it to the weight loss. You know, you're doing all this work every day, you're doing small changes, you're doing things, but you're not seeing anything on the scale. And then all of a sudden you have that whoosh factor on the scale. That's the same thing here. Like you're doing things every day, all the little things, and she talked about yesterday with the financial path, is doing all those little things and keeping your foot on the gas, and all of a sudden you will have big results. Same thing here, keep your foot on the gas. When you hit that sweet spot, stay in the sweet spot. I think people tend to pull back on things at that time, and just, it's not a good idea, especially in the ramp phase. You wanna keep going.
Yep.
All right.
So we wanted to really model this entire presentation based on frequently asked questions that I receive, that Lauren receives, that Laura receives, all in our department. So our first question, and the topic that y'all felt least confident about, is how can I be timely and strategic with my advertising to maximize impact? So what I always say is, if you're not early, you're late when it comes to advertising. And I think we all have strong work ethics, so I'm sure you can relate to that statement as well. Proactivity is key, whether you're advertising a space that you're gonna have open this September and you just did re-registration in May. It's really important to let people know what spaces you're gonna have coming in September as soon as you know. As soon as you have the information on what your need is, that's exactly when you need to start telling people, here's our openings, here's our availability. So I always recommend doing things a quarter in advance. If you have a need in your threes classroom, you should be aware of that. You should be working with your directors and your assistant directors, looking at your rosters and checking to see what those needs are going to be in advance so that you can be more strategic about your marketing and not kind of chasing your tail and being in a situation where you have been needing threes and now you're struggling because now you're now in September and you realize you now need threes and you weren't proactive. Now you're telling the Inspire team, now we got to do a threes campaign, and now we're about 6 months behind at that point because we're starting that awareness journey a little bit too late. So proactivity is really key when it comes to digital advertising. Same goes with events too. Community connections is a really important factor for us, and throwing really fun events in the schools as well. If you're having an event, if you haven't started telling people in your community about your event 30 days prior to, you're most likely going to be disappointed with your turnout. And I know putting together events is so much work. It takes a lot of effort, and event planning is really hard, and it can be very stressful. So make sure that if you are doing any advertising of any events, doing it very proactively too. All right. And then
You don't have to read this.
yeah, you don't have to read this. It is in FranConnect or Celebrate One. I just wanted to show you guys the breadth of this tool that we put together this year. We've gotten a lot of feedback of franchisees telling us, what is happening? What is corporate doing? What are the messages that are going out there? So we put together an entire calendar for the entire year. It goes from quarter to a month to week as well. So you can see what the messaging that Julia is going to be putting on your social medias is going to be so that you can really align that. Because as we talked about with integrated marketing, being everywhere all at once with the same exact message is key. It really is. So this plan will allow you to see what we're doing from a national level. This year, we are doing quarterly campaigns from a national level. So we're still in April. It's flying by. It's flying by, but April's Financial Literacy Month. And we thought, how can we work with our PR agency, Fishman PR, to really execute large national PR campaigns so that we're increasing our share of voice against our competitors? I won't name them.
Richie already did.
Richie did. But it's really important that we are louder than our competitors, whether or not they're being louder because they have negative press. We want to be louder with our positive press, and that happens all the time. So what are we doing in April? April's Financial Literacy Month. We are doing a lot of different things from a PR standpoint and putting out stories on how Celebrate educates our children on financial literacy from a young age. We're supporting our families by hosting a quarterly webinar every single quarter and bringing a financial planner, just like we did yesterday, to talk to parents about starting up a 529 plan and saving early for your children, because sometimes that can be forgotten. And the registrations for that is
200 plus?
I think we're at like 220 right now. I'm really proud of that. So
Very cool.
that's great. And then what other key events are happening during the month of, or the quarter, Q2? We've got a very busy quarter in Q2. Teacher Appreciation Week is happening. Summer camp is being kicked off. A lot of things that you need to be aware of so that you can be proactive with your planning. And so this tool will really help you get an idea of what the entire year looks like so that you can be checking in with this. I even got the large version of it printed out from in a sticker and put in our office, so it's something that we can all be extremely mindful of. And it's an editable document too. So we've got ideas in there and community connections. What can you do in your school to bring financial literacy to your families? Can you bring in a financial planner for your families and support them in that way? And that is really going to have a positive impact and only build up your reputation in the community. Key themes that we also have happening in the Q2 is growth. We're all about growing big. It's spring. We're growing, and that's an always on messaging for us. So at the top, it'll say always on messages. Grow people big and small is obviously always on. So lean into that. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. How are you growing your teachers big? Messages like this will have a lot of impact with your families. And then we'll be coming up into the summer months, and our national campaign will be Summer Fun. After that, back to school. So how can you lean into that? How can you support your families in the summer months? Maybe giving them tips on great vacation spots that are family friendly. These types of things are really impactful. All right.
Rock and roll?
Do I have to do this on my own? No, you don't. A lot of franchisees don't always feel confident early on, and that's okay. You don't really know how to talk about your school. You feel that your director has more education than you because they've been doing it for 30 years. But when it comes to community connections, and you can have people to support you. Ultimately, you are the face of your school, and you do have to be able to be confident and speak about the school eloquently, but you can hire someone for that. There's a trend. This is, I wanted to take a look at community liaison search traffic. So in Google, the word community liaison has specifically majorly increased over the last year. To me, when I see this, I can see that there is a change in the way people are doing marketing. Digital advertising feels so safe. You have the numbers. You can feel the impact. You have the budget, right? It's all real, it's tangible. But there's so much noise. There's so much noise, and I'm tired of it, and I'm sure you are. You see advertisements, and you're like, whatever. Usually it's just in the background. Your subconscious is really seeing it. It's not even you. So seeing this, community liaisons are more important, and we have more franchisees hiring this position out as well. A great person you could talk to is Mr. Carl Newmeyer. He's one of the first people to have hired a specific marketing mentor or community liaison. You have a question? You gotta say like Sam and say, don't.
Yeah. So, and maybe it's a question to Carl, so I don't know if Carl is here, but it's really a question on what are the practices that we see among franchisees on team building, focusing on marketing, because like when you're about to open, that's my case.
So could you say that last part again, when you're?
So the point is to learn better about other franchisees, how they resource basically the team for marketing activities as you're starting, and maybe the Carl models. I don't know if Carl is here and if he can expand on that.
Yeah,
or somebody.
Carl's not in here, but he basically hired a marketing consultant to help run his marketing because he knew that that was a weakness of his. So that person did their groundbreaking, their grand opening event, all that, all the things. and is helping him with all kinds of stuff marketing related.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're doing social media
an
for
intern,
him, and
basically.
they're also doing research for what the community events that are happening in the area too, because that takes a lot of time. What Nick and Nikki found us are investing a lot of time right now in doing that research and showing up, and they can help you at least with that research, help you find where you need to be if that's not something that you know how to do, and then just basically tell you, all right, you got to show up here Saturday at 2 p.m. because I've already put together the activities for the kids and the busy baskets and all those things that you have to do to table at an event, and they can help guide you through that.
Yeah, and then once you have an open school, I mean, you can assign social media to somebody if that's an area that you don't feel comfortable doing, all those types of things. But we do encourage you talking to other franchisees while you're here and getting connected with them on what the process was for them to find this person. A lot of times you can reach out to local colleges. I mean, that's how we get interns for our department. And just people have an interest in that. Everybody loves social media. I feel like that's a given now at this stage, but like, putting on events and all that. People love that stuff. So you could reach out to the local college and see if they have people that are looking for internships for credit and for pay. There's both.
Yep. All right. Thank you for your question. What's the point of doing community connections? Isn't digital advertising more effective? I feel like we've talked about this a lot over the last 2 days, so I really won't drive down into it too much. But it's building relationships. It's driving your reputation. It's showing off. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are all bosses. You're entrepreneurs. You are killing it. You are doing something so much bigger than yourself, and you all are so proud of that. Why not share it? Why not go out in the community and network and tell people about the Celebrate difference? We are driving major difference for the families that we serve. And ultimately, we know word of mouth tends to be the most effective digital advertising that there is, or advertising in general. I always tell people, I love data. I love analyzing the data, right? I look at the lead source reports that all of our schools get. I try to see what channels are converting higher than other channels, and you know what converts the highest? Referrals. Every day, it's always referrals. So building up that reputation, building something bigger than yourself has a lot of impact for your business, and not everything is measurable. Again, it's frustrating that you can't see the ROI on a $50 investment to table at a farmer's market, but you can change the way you measure that success in your head. Measure it from how many amazing conversations did I have today?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, put yourself in the customer's shoes too. Like, how many of you would expect to see a preschool at a farmer's market? Like, turn the corner and there's a school there? Probably not many of you. So if you were the parent, you'd be like, oh, what is that? But like Danielle said, like you go up and have a conversation because you're actually not standing behind your booth, sitting on a chair on your phone. You're out in front saying, welcome, and asking questions for people to want to come in, or like, look at our activity that we have, bring your daughter over, those types of things. Those conversations will make an impact. And then if they are ready, or maybe they weren't even thinking about preschool for their kid, but you've talked to them, they've had a great experience, that's priceless. Those have major impact, they're meaningful. So every conversation matters.
It does. And part of our brand and our culture here at Celebrate is being a little extra, taking it the extra mile, right? And trying to always be better than the competitors. The competitors aren't doing this. They aren't. They're sitting inside of their school and they're spending probably double to triple what you are on digital advertising to not have to do this. They don't want to be the face of their school. They aren't sharing how proud they are of their school. So you doing this alone differentiates you in your market. All right.
We've got a question.
Question?
Oh, back. Okay.
Not so much a question, it's just an idea around community connections.
I love that.
So in every market, there's networking groups. For instance, there's one called BNI, Business Network International. They're all over the nation. And essentially like this group, and there's others like this, but essentially it's business owners, they go together once a week, and it's BNI specifically is all referral based. So you go, you meet with realtors and lawyers and roofers and all these other business owners and pass referrals to and from. So I would encourage franchisees to go and look and seek out these groups, join them. It's very intentional networking and all based off of referrals, and find strategic partners like realtors that are constantly welcoming new families and can be a champion of your brand and pass referrals to and from them. Because if you refer a realtor, they're more likely to refer a student over to you as well. So
100%.
I love that. Thank you.
You know, and I heard from one of our directors, I think back in the franchise training that we had back in January, that they joined a networking group that they found on Facebook, and they do little meetups in I don't remember where they were from, but it was just for their city. So look for those networking opportunities too. And when it comes to networking and doing community connections, you have no idea who you're talking to. They could be secret shopping you. They could be from Goddard. They could be trying to figure out what makes Celebrate different. Or they could be owning the Chick-fil-A right down from your school and you don't realize it, but you've just started a beautiful budding relationship that is only going to result in positive interaction for your families, ability for you to reach out into that community and have conversations that you might not have had without that partnership, and just so many things. So you never really know what opportunity is going to knock at your door. So being like Richie, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the video of his social media that I always remember, but it's him just chatting it up with somebody in an airport. He is
Karen
a
and Tracy.
networking star.
That's how we met you in the airport.
I mean, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Just one conversation brought you here today, and your level of investment was much higher than a Celebrate enrollment, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. So when it comes to community connections, be like Richie. It sounds cheesy, but he's a really good model about networking and getting yourself out there. It's important.
And Jacob, I'm glad you brought that up because partnerships are very important. So like I mentioned that yesterday on the panel, like seeing Goldfish Swim School yesterday at that groundbreaking was genius. I think getting those partnerships early on are critical. Like-minded businesses, and when you're going around, if you're in a business park or if you're in a strip mall or wherever your school is, even if you're detached, like going to those businesses around you and not just dropping off flyers, but making relationships with those people is very important. So we, like you said, extra, we are extra. Like it's 110% effort into things and you will get that back.
Yep.
What you put in is what you'll get back. Keep that in mind.
If I can add a point to the BNI comment.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you check out your local BNI chapter. They are also now franchising.
Oh,
So
cool.
your local chapter is also a franchisee of a bigger organization.
wow.
That's even-
So they will work really well
perfect.
with you guys. The other thing I love about them, and they are a client, so I'll put that out there. But one of the things I love about them is if you join your local chapter, they will not let a competitor join that local chapter. So it's
Game
a little
changer.
bit of a defensive move as well.
So maybe
And
we
you
have a
can-
hookup here.
You can
Partnership.
lock out your competitor from that BNI chapter.
Cool.
I really-
maybe
I-
there's something we can do to, get contacts for the markets that we have potentially.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
If you want to send me a list of the markets, I can share
Absolutely.
that with the BNI folks.
Cool.
So-
Thanks, Jack.
We're learning.
That's great.
Like we
See?
always learn too.
And
This is something
why
that we
these
need to include.
Conversations are so important. I was talking yesterday how I'm a part of those roundtables. Like, those are not even in the same industry as me, but you get those little like nuggets that you can take back on ideas that you can do that would then translate to your business. So I love that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's wonderful.
Thanks. All right. How do I talk to potential families? How do I tell my story? I'm not feeling confident. I know we grow people big and small. I know protect, educate, nurture. I could read the mission statement all day, but I still don't feel confident. Did you know? 55% of consumers are more likely to remember a story than they are going to remember a list. As human beings, I've remembered almost every single conversation I've had here today. If you ask me to name maybe all the sponsors on that list outside, I don't know if I could do that, right? But you remember all the conversations that you have, so it's so important to be able to get your story across. So we have a little bit of activity today for you to help you get that story across. And get your brain flowing on what is important to say about Celebrate and how you can talk about Celebrate and how you can talk to yourself as it pertains to Celebrate, because Josephine up here stole the show yesterday, am I right? I
Yes.
only heard kudos and kudos and kudos and kudos for her because she is so amazing at telling her story. She's extremely relatable, personal, and willing to be vulnerable. And that just has so much impact. She stole the show yesterday. She was my #1 highlight of the entire show. And it wasn't even anything about marketing.
No, no, it's critical. I mean, even Alex, like her story was memorable too. I think anecdotal information, putting yourself in their shoes and saying, I've been there, I know what you're going through when you're making this decision. I mean, it's just critical. So we've heard a lot that when people like sign, they're like, I don't know how to talk about Celebrate. So we thought we'd make it's actually one of the sheets that you have in front of you.
Yep.
We're gonna do an elevator pitch really quick. So you have something as a takeaway that you can take back to your school. But
Yeah, so it starts off
Daniel's
with some
gonna-
prompting questions, right?
Yep.
We gave you all kind of like a universal opening, a universal closing, but how can you interject your story into an elevator pitch? Ultimately, an elevator pitch tends to start with a hook. The hook that I love to tell people, or make it more natural, because usually just starting out with like a fact or something like that can be a little bit sterile, is ask a question. Do you know how much of a child's brain develops before the age of 5? No? It's 90%. Wow. Let me tell you about how important it is to get them enrolled at a preschool center early. And that's that conversation, convincing the family on why they should be enrolled in a preschool period. We'll get to Celebrate later, but you need to be able to communicate the importance of that to their early learning and development at a very early stage, and it can get them hooked in. They're interested. Oh, I never thought about that. I don't know that number. And now they're interested to hear what you have to say, because you sound like a thought leader. Too, you have information that they didn't have, so now you're a figure of authority to them, so they're going to be more willing to listen to you. Next, you need to be able to tell your story. So we'll give you guys some time. We've got 3 key points that we want you to answer, so we'll give you some 5 minutes. We'll play some light tunes in the background, maybe. Some brainstorming tunes, and get an idea of what you would do to answer these questions to get your story across. And then we also have another activity, which is a storytelling Mad Lib. And for those of you that are feeling confident, I'd love nothing more to hear maybe you tell us your story. And you don't have to do it from an elevator pitch standpoint, but how would you talk to a family? All right.
All right, guys. Anybody have their elevator pitch already? Crickets.
Anybody
Is this
want a
thing on,
platform?
Heather?
Nikki? Come on.
You
Come on.
don't have to come up. You can.
We can come down to you.
Whatever you want to do. However you do your story, you can do that. You can come up here. You can stay there. Actually, we probably need a mic. Where's Chris?
Does this one work? Yes.
Nikki needs a mic.
Giving you a workout, Chris. So we really had the very first thing we did, Nick and myself, we really got out in the community as much as possible, but we did so much more than just typical fairs. Like, as you probably heard yesterday, we even did things like partner with the local high school to give scholarships to up and coming educators who are going to be going to college for that. When we do our community events, we are always trying to connect, but I think one of the most important things is always getting down to the children's level. Both of us, the very first thing we do is really connect with the kids first, of showing them the games we have at the community events, and really then finding a thing to relate with them, with the adults afterwards. And so just like joking around and then answering them questions, showing them all the resources that we have there, and really talking about how connected we are and invested within the community. It's so much more than just a school. It's about the community partnerships, and so learning about the community needs and helping them find resources for that as well, and just learning about it. You know, with the soccer thing, Nick's always joking, who do you like, Ronaldo or Messi? And like really joking around with everybody. And then also, I think that one of the last 1.3 is just, we always connect it with our personal values about how important giving back to the community and how aligned we are with Celebrate, and that it's much more than just a school. It's not a typical school. It's about being a home away from home. It's about being a part of a community. It's so much bigger than that, and that's what's really important. So just maintaining those relationships too.
That was amazing. Our award winner over there. That was amazing. You're so right. Like, people want to know that they're not just dropping their kids off to some everyday preschool. Like, they want to know that this is a school that has heart and soul and cares about the community and cares about every single person that's coming in. I love that you just said that. That was wonderful to share. Yeah.
Please.
Of course you can.
All right, so those of you who don't know me, I'm also an elementary principal. I'm probably really embarrassing my husband right now. But like, I'm the type of person who, like, your visibility for when your school opens is so key. Like, you know, it's so different than an elementary school, but like, I'm out there every morning opening the doors, hugging people. It's that the relationships are so important, even with the adults, where I have parents who come in crying in my office because something happened. But it's like, that home away from home is so important. So it's also about building a relationship and knowing that you're so approachable, so that way you can really support the whole family and know that you're there for so much bigger.
Love that.
All right. Oh, and what about birthday?
My goal is to be invited to as many 5-year-old birthday parties as I can. If we're not being invited to birthdays, then we're doing something wrong. And when we came to meet the team today, that was one thing Richie, I think, said that it struck me. And like, you know, he wasn't being invited all the time to these little kids' birthday parties, and that just, you know, shows the connections you're making with these families. You're not just
Absolutely.
a business in the community. You are literally a part of their family, and they're inviting you to their kid's birthday party. And so, like, that's, I think, the goal ultimately is to be invited to as many 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old birthday parties as we can. So.
Add that to your list of KPIs. Am I right? That's really
We
great.
might be able to take one more. We're getting close on time at this point. Anybody else? Oh, okay. Hurry up, Chris.
Run. We've got 2 minutes.
Well, I really learned something again. 5-year birthday party. Okay, so that's on top of my list now, Nick. I would definitely, you know, as you all always say, start with a hook. So connect with them. And the more you connect with them in the first few seconds, the more they are aligned to listen to you. My field is marketing as well. So from my heart, I hear when they say something, you know, oh, yeah, yes, exactly. So I have been in corporate for a long time. And what I want to tell them that, and we are parent of 2 kids with no family around, and still, you know, we are always in a race of growing and growing big. But at the same time, we have to look at our kids, and we have to grow small as well. So that's what our hook is, that as a parent who want to grow in the corporate world, but we have always seen the struggle of other parents, including ourselves, to find the quality care for their child when they're not with them. And probably like 60% of the day or 80% of the day, they are not with you. So what kind of care they are getting, how they are growing, are they learning? Are they gonna go, or they gonna grow as responsible when they're gonna go to the elementary school? So that kind of things, when you start talking, I think when I will start talking, that will be a good connection making thing. Apart from that, yes, celebrate, mission, vision, everything, we are aligned. Like, we want to protect the kids, we want to nurture, we want to grow big and small. So all of that, but yeah, that's where my hook will start.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for your participation. So we're going to wrap up. We have a couple more slides real quick. So
What if I forget everything from today? You guys throw so much information at me. What if I forget everything from that 5-day week of training? I put a little resource sheet on your spots that you're sitting at that shows you the breadth of information that we have for you and resources that we have for you in Fran Connect and Celebrate One. So I want you to know from every single topic to community connections, events, networking, talking about yourself, Celebrate 101 basically, and other things such as social media and Mark, all those things. We have resources for you, and we're only looking to get better. I love making resources, and I'm always telling the team, we need a video for that.
She's great at it.
Walk me through that so that when that question comes on your end, you have another resource to go to as well, outside
and
of
please
the
attend our
network.
lunch and learns too. Like, we have them every month. Please come. We have a lot of the same people that always show up, which we appreciate. But if you can attend, please come to those two. They're a great source of just making connections. You can see who's on there. You can hear from us, hear from vendors. Sometimes we have on there guest speakers. So.
Yep. All right, one more
You
fun.
got to get out your phones. We have one more thing. If you could please share your favorite takeaway from today, and we'll show that on the next slide. I'm afraid to go to the next slide. All right. Think I can go? Okay.
Sharing my backstory, my why.
Love that.
If you build it, they won't come.
Thank you. Who said that?
You made Laura's day. Community connections are non-negotiable. B&I,
Getting
that was
invited to
my
birthday
biggest takeaway.
Oh, I don't know how we go down. Can you scroll up a little bit, please?
That's
Oh, I
all
guess
right.
you can't. Never mind.
It's our first time.
Sorry. So B&I was huge. I think, thank you for bringing that up. And Jack, that's really exciting. We can get that connected right away when we go, we have homework. So I love that. That was great. Really quick, next slide. We just put this in here. Go. What happened?
There we go.
We put this in here to be funny because we want you guys to know how much we love marketing. So we were actually marketing nightmares for Halloween. So these are all the things that keep us up at night. So we have a teacher out of uniform. We have Sam, he cricketed that shirt himself. He stapled that logo on that shirt. Emojis over kids. Maddie's the good old brand police in the middle there. A tabling nightmare. Look at that. Would you want to come talk to me at a booth event? No. Smoking my cig, drinking my alcoholic beverage? Absolutely not. Eating pizza? Terrible. And then out of color uniform, and then I made this flyer myself. So what we ask is that you guys use the resources, use us, the tools, everything we've given you, and we're always willing to add more things. We love hearing from you and love learning new things. So please share your ideas, share things with us, and we're here for you always. So it's a great way to end. I just want to say, and I've talked to you guys about this individually at some of the tables and things, but we are one brand. We are one Celebrate. So I encourage you to really make connections here and become friends, partners with the other franchisees in your community. It's critical that we work together to get the name out there. And you guys, you don't see it now because some of you are early stages, but you will be telling people, hey, I know you're moving. We have another Celebrate down the street, and they will be doing the same thing for you. Because what we don't want them to do is go to one of our competitors. We want them to stay within the Celebrate family and get that wonderful experience that we provide, right? And we want people to have that same experience when they walk into each Celebrate that's high quality, they feel good about it, they know they want to take their family there and bring all their children, their neighbor, their friends, they want to tell everybody about it. So please keep that in mind, become friends, become partners, work together, put your advertising dollars together. Makes a huge difference. You can go further. You can do direct mail campaigns together, radio, all kinds of things where it's a higher price tag, and you would feel better if you just partner together as for the good of Celebrate. So I think you all get my point. But it's really about just having a good brand reputation in the community. If you're doing something wonderful, tell us about it. We would love to share your story too. Mm-hmm. So all of that is good press. All the things that come up in your organic, which is all the links underneath of the paid at top, is called organic. We want more things to show up there. So your PR stories, the SEO, the blogs that we're doing, all of that, we want to take over that page. So share things with us too. Thanks.
Right.